Hey you guys, what's up? She Sound Off. What is good, y'all? So I'm just coming out of meditation and I had to get this out. I had to get it out. I want to talk about the power of thought. A really quick message. So the power of thought. Do you realize how much power your thought is? Do you realize that what you think is what you will create? Do you realize that what you think will determine your vibration or your frequency? And like I said in the video before, your frequency is how you attract things. So in meditation, I got a word or a message, a download that I have to be more intentional on my thoughts, on my thought process, on what I put my focus into. I don't know if you understand that in order to create your life, in order to create your day-to-day life, your routine, your future, whatever it is that you are in the midst of creating in this moment, everything stems from thought. Everything starts from thought. Like a baby is birthed in your womb and it starts as a fetus, that's your thought. First, there's an idea. And everything about your thoughts starts off as a creation or an illusion. After we see something and we hear something, it starts to develop a desire. Maybe it's a job that you want. You feel like I can make more money if I were to get in this career, if I were to do this, or I have a passion to create, use my hands, or I want to be in a relationship with this type of person. I want whatever kind of house you want, whatever kind of, you want to go on a vacation. Everything had to stem from a thought, right? And those thoughts stem from things that we've seen in the past, we've seen on TV, we've seen around us, on social media, whatever it is. Whatever you're putting your focus on, that's how the thought creates. Again, like a baby in the womb. It starts out small, like a fetus or even an egg, an embryo, and then all the cells form and develop. All these little cells start to multiply, form, and develop, and then it becomes a baby. Well, our thoughts, you have to look at your thoughts in the same way. The first thing you do is you feel something. You will see something and it'll trigger an emotion out of you. Either you like it or you dislike it. But I want to talk about the likes because we already focus on things that we don't like way too much. And I'm going to briefly touch on that. But first I want to talk about creating the things that we want. Okay? So you'll see a commercial or you'll see an image of something, whether it's a magazine or you'll hear someone talking about something. And then your mind starts to develop a passion for it, an appreciation for it, a wanting, a yearning for that particular thing. And then from there, you start to create in your mind. You start to visualize and you might not even know that you do it this way. Like, I didn't even realize that this is literally how thoughts are formed and how we create the things that are currently in our life. But you start to create a passion for it. Your senses starts to awaken. What would it feel like to have that particular thing? How would your life change if this particular event were to happen? Mind starts to develop a yearning for these momentary things that is not even in existence yet until we actually create it. But it all stems from thought. And so that led me to understand that, what am I focusing on? How am I creating this life that I have? How have I, up until this point, created the life that I have? The things that I appreciate and like, the things that are serving me correctly. And that goes for people, places, and things, okay? The people that's in your life, the things that you have, the material things that you have, the place that you live, your environment, the way that you act, your character. All of these stems from a thought, and that thought has created this idea. Your thought has created your characteristic of who you want to be and who you are as attracting the people that's around you currently. Now, here's the funny thing about thought. I realized that we are creating this. Our thoughts become our reality. So if you don't take moments throughout the day to put focus on how your mind is working, then You are not in control of your thoughts. Okay? That's why it's so easy to fall victim to negative thoughts. And then what happens is, because we fall victim to those negative thoughts, that's where we keep our focus most of the time. Now, you might want to deny this, but this happens subconsciously. Subconsciously, we are programmed to automatically look at the downfall to this thing. It's the saying that goes, how does it go? Prepare for the worst. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's a negative thought, negative mindset in itself, that whole saying. And I literally dismissed that saying out of my life about a year ago, because I'm like, why would I hope for the best, but prepare for the worst? As I'm going throughout my day and I notice that my mind is going places that I don't even want to go, I take a quick break. Maybe it could be 1 minute, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes. But I take a moment and I sit in my now. I sit in my moment of now. That's really important for you to do as you're focusing your thought. Where I'm talking about practicing focused thought for positive things. Again, I'm going to talk about the negative things very briefly in just a moment. But I take a second and I become aware of what my thoughts are doing. If I notice that I'm having a negative thought, I pause for a minute and I analyze it really quickly. It takes a second to say, okay, that just happened. I just had a negative thought. Why am I having a negative thought right now? Well, you're not even realize that there could have been a commercial on TV or on the radio, or there could have been an event that happened as you were driving, or it's so many things, y'all, that literally controls our thoughts if we're not in control of it. So it could be something that you didn't even know that you were paying attention to. It starts to create these illusions, okay? And we take that shit in all day. That's energy. Energy is everywhere and everything you touch, see, think, be, act. That is what energy is. And so as you're subconsciously looking at certain things that affects your emotions, it triggers your emotions, and you start to create a thought, an illusion. So let's just say you're driving down the street and you see a car that really triggers positive emotional response. I don't know. You see a Tesla driving down the street. You don't have a Tesla, okay? But when you see this Tesla, your mind instantly goes, the color of it intrigues you. The way the car looked like it's floating down a street, it intrigues you. The sleekness of the design is very intriguing. It's a Tesla. Y'all know them Teslas go hard. So you see this car and you're like, you start to envision yourself driving it. How it would make you feel. It would give you confidence. A lot of us seek validation subconsciously. I do it. I'm a victim of it. And I'm constantly checking it and catching it throughout the day. But you feel like I'll be validated. Or you might be a very hardworking person and you say, okay, this would make me feel warranted if I were to be driving this car. I work hella hard, so I deserve something that show the fruits of my labor. Maybe you're suffering from that childhood trauma syndrome that I also do, where you feel like, well, I was so deprived of having nice things when I was younger. I feel like if I have this car, it'll make me feel like it'll stop my suffering. Basically, it'll stop my suffering. And so immediately you say in your mind, oh my God, I want this car. I want this car. I need this car, you know? And now your thought has went from, I'll say, an embryo where you first saw it, but you start to create the thought, and now the thought is turning into a little baby, like in the womb. And now you're creating it. You're giving it a possibility to become actual thing that you possess in your life. Now, we take a left turn when we start creating these doubts in our head through our thought process. Let's just say you're not making enough money to have that particular thing. So now your thought is starting to create doubt, fear, and then that is what is going to manifest, right? That is what you are going to manifest. You stop focusing on creating this for yourself, creating this this car, this thing you want, this Tesla, and now you create the fear, and you're like pulling away from manifesting that particular thing. You're pulling away further and further. The more that you focus your thought on the lack thereof, is how you pull yourself away from having that particular thing. Before I understood how the whole mind works and the power of focused thought worked, I realized that I was literally, I single-handedly crushing y'all, literally crushing my manifestations. I would birth this thought of something, and then I would allow my subconscious fear the thoughts where it creates things that hasn't even happened and that's not even real. Okay, it would allow me to slowly move away from the manifestation. And a lot of times, y'all, because we have such a lack mindset, because we're not focusing on how our mind is working and what we are thinking moment to moment, we are crushing our manifestations. And I realized, had I stayed patient and had I focused on exactly what I want, I would have manifested that. And what happens is, you know, we tend to worry about the how, and the how is not our business. All we need to do is take tangible steps to get it. Whatever small steps you can take, have patience. Then you have to focus your thought on that and that alone. You can't say, I'll settle for anything. You can't say, well, I can't afford it in this moment. I don't have it in this moment, because that's creating illusions in your mind. Who says that you won't have it when it's time? We create the thoughts of lack by creating an illusion, okay? And then we build off of that. And it lowers our self-esteem. It lowers our ability to create that thing, or the car, to manifest it, is what I'm trying to say. It prevents us from being able to manifest it because we are so focused on the lack thereof. So I'll wrap this video up by saying this, okay? When you are going throughout your day-to-day, it's really important to focus on your thought. Focus on what you are thinking in the moment. And we have to be very careful not to allow illusions of what has not even happened, what is not even present, to control our thoughts, because that pulls you away further and further from your manifestation. Focus your thought on the thing that you want. Don't worry about or create these thoughts of lack by saying, I can never find the love that I want because of my past. I can never afford to buy this house because of my bank account. I cannot afford to live the life of freedom and abundance that I want because I have so much trauma built up in me. I don't have the ability to control my finances. I don't have this. I don't have that. That is what you focus on. That's the thoughts that you create, and that is what you manifest. So you have to steer away from that. And the best way to do that is practice focused thought. When you find yourself in that mindset of negative thinking, you start to replace it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. I mean, we're taught from small to hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So if you're doing that, then obviously you're going to have to constantly keep catching the thoughts, constantly keep catching them. You know, I didn't even realize this until my mentor told me, like, listen, we're naturally going to have these thoughts, but if you catch them, if you constantly catch them, then you can change them. But the way to do that is focused thought. All right. I love you guys so much. Remember, self-preservation is the first law of nature. You have to love yourself before you can love anything and anybody else in this world, okay? And remember to transcend into your authenticity. All right, you guys, until next time, peace out.